So chances are you're about to lose a deal. Not next year, not next quarter, today. You see, someone in your market is searching for a solution that you provide, and they're not calling you, and they're not visiting your website. They're asking AI, and AI is answering. And AI is recommending, AI is building a shortlist, and you're not on it. You see, you're not going to get a rejection email. You won't lose a proposal. You'll just never know the opportunity existed. And before you think, well, that's a little dramatic, Charlie, let me give you a number. According to Rollworks, 77% of B2B buyers won't speak to a salesperson until they've done their own research. 77%. You see, this is the research that they do before you know they exist. And the trend is getting worse. Our buyers are researchers. Your sale is happening right now without you. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly where and give you the path forward before the window closes. So let's go. So I'm Charles Gaudet, CEO of Predictable Profits, and I help 6, 7, and 8-figure founders escape the founder's trap for creating predictable growth in their business. Now, my prediction is that by 2030, the traditional B2B sales rep will be gone. And before you shrug it off, let me prove it to you and show you exactly what's happening. And by the end of the video, you're going to be convinced of it too. See, here's the problem. You see, most founders, they think they know where deals are won and lost, and they're wrong. You see, there are 3 layers to the decision-making process. In the top layer, we have conversation. You see, that's meetings, proposals, negotiation, phone calls. That's the sort of thing that happens in the top layer. And this is where you show up. And this is where you think that you're competing. Here's again what the data says. Remember, 77% of B2B buyers, they won't even speak to sales until they've completed their own research. So you're not being invited to the conversation. You're being granted an audience after they've already made up their mind. Now, in that middle layer is evaluation. You see, this is where buyers are doing their research, they're comparing their options, they're consuming content. Now, how much content? Well, roughly about 62% will consume anywhere between 3 and 7 pieces of content before they even talk to you. And 82% will view at least 5 pieces of content from the winning vendor. So if they can't find what they need from you here, well, guess what? They're going to find it from somebody else. And you're never even going to know it happened. Now, here's what's going to change how you see everything. Here's that third layer. And that third layer is in the discovery. You see, this is where buyers first become aware that solutions exist. This is where they form their initial sense of who's credible and who belongs on the shortlist. Who controls this layer over here? AI is the one that controls this layer. So when somebody asks, how do I scale without burning out? Or how do I grow my agency? Whatever it might be, AI ends up answering instantly with recommendations, with frameworks, with comparisons. If AI can't cite you, well, then you don't exist in that layer. You see, this right here is where most founders end up trying to compete. But where the deals are decided is actually down here. So there's a big gap between where you compete and where deals are being decided. So if you're competing up here in this area, in the last 30% of the buying process, you're missing the area where 70% of all the decision-making process is happening down here. And it's happening without you. So here's the thing. You can't win a game you were never invited to play. So let me show you how much you're missing. So let's imagine for a minute. Now, this is in Iceberg. Okay. Well, this little tiny dip above the water, right over here, what you see is about, say, 30%, right? 30%. That's 30% above the waterline. Just that little silver. Just that little silver that we're talking about right over here. Okay? Now, the meeting, the proposal, the negotiation, all of that happens below the water. So, in below the water represents the 70%. Everything that happens before you even know that the buyer existed. So down here below the water, they have already discovered their options. They have already consumed content. They have already compared all the different solutions. They have evaluated their risk. They have built their shortlist, and they have already formed an opinion. You see, most of the businesses out there and most of your competitors are fighting for this. Meanwhile, it's this section over here, the 70% that has already decided the outcome. I know what some of you are already thinking. You might be saying, hey, Charlie, my deals are different. My deals are complex. My deals require relationships. Nobody's spending serious money without talking to a human. I get it. Let me give you some numbers that might change your mind. So 75% of B2B buyers now already, as it exists today, prefer a rep-free sales experience. Not tolerate, but prefer. I mean, look, millennials and Gen Z, they don't even call their parents. Nowadays, they just text them. Yet somehow we think that just because we're in sales, they're going to want to talk to us. It's crazy. But what's even crazier is ignoring the facts. McKinsey, the big consulting firm McKinsey, in 2024, they said $500,000 plus deals are now happening through a self-serve digital channel. Forrester projects that 50% or more million-dollar B2B transactions will process through digital channels. So that's $500,000, bare bones minimum, no sales rep. So before you say, my industry is different, buyers are spending $500,000 plus without talking to anybody. So your $50,000 deal, your $100,000 deal, your $10,000 deal absolutely fits in this trend. This isn't coming. It's already here. All right, so let's take a look at this another way over here. So we've got AI, and we've got the human, the things that AI can do and the things that AI can't do. We've got our high value activities over here, and then we have our low value activities. Now, what is the high value work that AI can do? Well, it comes down to education. It's educating your buyers. It's comparing options. It's then qualifying the fit. You see, where the human is doing that, this part, and having it down here, this is the part that's dead, that's dying. Because AI does this faster, it does it cheaper, and it never sleeps. What about the high value work that AI can't end up doing? Well, it's interpreting information for somebody else's specific situation. It's what I call context. You're the one who brings context into the conversation. And you're the one who's able to co-design the offer to make it specific to their needs by removing all the emotional fear of what if this fails and transforming how somebody else thinks and then operates. You see, AI does not do a good job at bringing context into that conversation. So let me explain what I mean by context. I had this conversation with a client just the other day. He does custom software development. And I explained to him, I said, look, you have decades of experience. And because of your decades of experience, I wouldn't even know what questions to ask. That is what comes with context. I know what I want as the buyer, but I don't know the questions to ask. And you can see opportunities and challenges that I wouldn't know as the prospective buyer. That right there is the context. And with that context, you can help me create a better outcome. So that role of the B2B salesperson transforms into a client experience specialist. See, here's what I mean when I say 100% of all buying decisions happen by the time they get on the phone with you. See, that means I would have done all my research, done all my comparisons, done all the education. So by the time I get on the phone with you, I've already decided I want to do business with your company. In other words, when I get on the phone with you, I don't need a pitch. I have already done the decision and all the education. Now we're going to co-design the offer, go over legal, any of the other specifics that are necessary in order for us to actually sign on the dotted line and do business. Again, 100% of the buying decision is going to happen before they get on the phone with you. And this is really important to understand because by the time they get on the phone with you, they would have already decided that they want to do business with you. But now it's up to you to review the specifics of what they want and design the offer and the proposal for them. So this is where the pitch dies and the advisor thrives. Now this hits founders harder than anything else. Here's a pattern that I tend to see consistently. You see founders, they build a successful company, maybe hit mid 6-7 figures. But when every major deal closes because of them, when every key relationship runs through them, the business doesn't just need them. The business actually is them. And that's what we call the founder's trap. And here's what happens now that AI is entering the picture. And when AI makes 80% of the decisions before the call, you can't scale your personal sales time. And competitors with AI optimized systems, they're going to close deals faster. And because you didn't take the time to adapt to the changing environment because you spent so much time stuck in the business, you risk falling behind and ultimately getting deleted. You see, the window of opportunity, it's open right now. Every day we wait, it just gets a lot harder. Now, I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this because we're already watching it happen. And I don't want it to happen to you. So here's the good news. There's a new division of labor emerging. And if you position yourself correctly, you won't just survive all this chaos. You are going to dominate and will experience the biggest opportunity that you might ever see in your lifetime. It's definitely the biggest opportunity that I've ever seen. You see, AI, it owns this now. So let it. Stop fighting for that territory. Because if you try, you've already lost. You win this part here. So AI is deciding the options. Humans, on the other hand, they create the transformation. You see, AI decides options. Humans deliver the transformation. The founders who actually understand what we talk about will own the next decade. The founders who don't will wonder what ended up happening. You see, you can look at it this way. This right here represents all the different solutions then in your market. And then over here, well, this is what AI ends up recommending. But who gets the call? That depends on how well you're positioned for today's market. So where are you now? Are you above the filter or are you below the filter on the shortlist and getting the call? You see, if you're above it, you're invisible, you're watching deals go to competitors, and then you never really understand why. But if you're below the filter, you're getting an outsized advantage in the market. So look, I know I just dropped a lot on you. We talked about 3 layers. We talked about the iceberg, the matrix, founder's trap, the new division of labor, and so forth. If you feel like you need help actually implementing all of this, you're not alone. That's exactly why I created a free community for founders who are serious about escaping the founder's trap and maintaining their edge. And every single month inside of this free community, I host live workshops and trainings on exactly this topic, on how to grow faster, more predictably, and less dependent on you, giving those inside of our community an outsized advantage in today's market. So no fluff, no theory, real strategies that you can use. The link is somewhere in the description. And if you got value from this video, subscribe. And also in that community, you're going to get 10 times more value inside of the community with templates, strategies, and so forth. So again, just click the link Join us. Let's just make sure that you're taking advantage of every opportunity in front of you. Hey, the game is changing. The question is whether you'll change with it or get changed by it. I'll see you inside.